Hey everyone, this is Sean with Integrity Ranch. I'm out here feeding the cows some hay, and it's such a warm day. I think it's gonna get to like 70 today, and it feels a little sinful to be feeding hay on such a nice day, but I'll kind of go over some of the reasons why I'm doing that. And the biggest reason is it's a nice day, but it's also dry. To get down here and feed is just no big deal. I'm not leaving any ruts. I'm not fighting mud, and I'm a little short on stockpile. So we've got it's March 11th today, and we've got like 2, maybe 3, probably closer to 3 weeks worth of stockpile, but I'm going to call it 2 to be on the safe side. And I really want to save that stockpile. It's been rested since September. It's pretty lousy, but it's some of the best we have, and I've been saving it. I was about to turn the cows loose on it in January when we had some good weather. I was about to just let them have that field, and I decided to hold off because there's nothing worse than trying to feed cows pretty lousy hay in April. So, in April you've got 1 inch, maybe 2 inches of green growth. If the cows are chasing that green growth, they're kind of just squirting out the backside. It's too watery and too rich, and it just squirts out the backside. But if you have some stockpile in there that's 8 inches tall or so, and the green is coming up through that stockpile, then the cows will sit there. They're chasing that green, but they can't help it but to get some of that dried up stockpile, and it balances the system, and your cows will just perform. You get farther towards the end of April, the grass is getting a little bit mature, and then you're just kind of good, and you just take off and graze. But like I said, feeding hay in April is painful. And so I'd rather feed the hay now. Like, if I just had all stockpile, I'd just be grazing stockpile. But we were a little short on stockpile. So I'm gonna feed the hay. When should I be feeding it? I feel like anytime in March when there's a good day, I'm gonna feed hay if I know I need to. But if it was pouring down rain today and I didn't want to get over here and feed hay, I could just give them a little bit of stockpile and move on. But yeah, feeding hay, they just don't like it in April when there's some green to be chasing. Whereas right now, I've rolled out this hay and they're all lined up. It was actually a square bell. It was a big square bell. I had a guy, sell me some big square hay. He delivered it. It was cheap. And so I was like, let's do it. I had to cover it up with a tarp. That was one of the downsides. And then you have to just sit there and flake it off as you drive, which is another downside versus unrolling it. It's a little easier. But if you can get someone to deliver hay for cheap, I'm all about that. So the cows are getting close to calving. We should start calving the 1st of April. Looks to me, I was kind of observing a little bit, and it looks to me like all these girls have weaned their calves. I haven't seen anything nursing. She's got a heifer calf on her right now, or out in this field, and you can see she's getting close. She hasn't really started to drop a bag yet, but her bag is empty, which is kind of telling me she's weaned her calf. This right here, this will be a first calf heifer. And the first calf heifers are always going to start to build a bag, look like they're about to calve for, 60 days before they're actually should be calving. So heifers are pretty deceiving when it comes to trying to decide when they're going to calve. But yeah, cows are in good condition. For me, I guess some of you guys probably think they're a little thin, but I can't afford to feed my cows good enough to keep them just roly-poly all winter. But we like to keep them in good enough condition that as soon as we get some grass, they're just gonna take off. And I think they are definitely in good enough condition that as soon as this green grass gets to going, we'll be jamming. We've got 15 first calf heifers we're going to be calving out. So I'm excited to see how these heifers go. In the past, I tried to move heifers closer to home to calve, but this year I don't have anywhere to do that. So we're going to leave them out here with the cows. Keep an eye on them and just hope that the good genetics we've been pushing for, low birth weight bulls and all that, will pay off, and we shouldn't have any issues. But yeah, here's another first calf heifer. There's a first calf heifer that'll be calving. Just a nice old cow. First calf heifer. But yeah, it is, man, spring is in the air, and like I said, it's gonna get hot. Well, it's gonna feel hot today at least, and it just doesn't feel quite right. It feels a bit sinful to be feeding hay, but we didn't have enough stockpile, so we got to decide when we want to be feeding the rest of our stockpile. And I feel like April, saving it for April, so that's the plan. There's the cows. I guess we did end up pulling the fall cows. Have all got pulled out of here with their fall born calves, so that's why you'll just see these bigger calves, and the spring cows are in a little better condition. And the reason we did that is when it gets to the growing season, we have a farm, it's like 10 miles away, and that's where I keep the fall calving cows. And then I mix them in the winter time. That way I only have one herd to feed and check on. But now that we're starting to get where we can graze a little bit of stock, you know, grazing some stockpile and just kind of prepping for spring growth, I separated the fall cows, trailered them back to the other farm. I had a little bit of stockpile left there from when I moved them off this last winter. So they're grazing, and then they'll kind of spend the summer off by themselves. So I would love to keep all my stuff together, all the cows together, but we're spread out on little pieces of lease ground all over, and you just kind of got to play it to work for you. I used to try to trailer them all throughout the summer, keep them together and trailer them, and that got exhausting. So now I just separate them and check on different herds. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you on the next one.